Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you are, remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another series video of the Let's Talk HABS with the hockey coach, Guru Coach FRENCHY. And this is really different. Why? Because for the first time of the season, they have win all their games during the week. So we're going to go to preview, review, and give you all the update about injuries, prospect, and who is doing very well with the Montreal Canadiens. A little bit amount of trade deadline before the end of the March 21st. This is the last day before a team in the NHL can make a trade. So don't go nowhere. Let's talk about the Montreal Canadiens, your Bleu Blanc Rouge. But before we start, you know the drill. Right there, subscribe. 93, only 93. I need your help. Please subscribe. Tell to your friends. Sharing, that's the most important thing you can do for us. Thank you again. And then, of course, click on the likes that we're increasing our viewers. And finally, tell me what you think about the Montreal Canadiens, their weeks, and also what is coming for them for the upcoming week, the 1st of the March 2022. Let's dive in and talking about Let's Talk Abs, your Bleu Blanc Rouge. Let's go. This is the week of the 2022, February 21st to the February 27th. It's always from the Monday to Sunday. Hammond entrance. We're going to talk about this, the review game, the Caulfield on fire, the injury update, the March schedule, the prospect update around the Montreal Canadiens, finally the trade deadline. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to talk about to you guys today inside this video. First of all, the Montreal Canadiens, yes, it's not a mistake for me. Yes, it is real. Yes, because they are on the straight of 5W. And last week they played 4 games from Monday to Saturday. And they are completely finished with a 4-0-0. They beat the New York Islanders 3-2 and OT Cole Caulfield. They beat, surprisingly, the Toronto Maple Leafs, shocked the world the Monday by a score of 5-2. Yes, they beat the Buffalo Sabres at 4-0 in a shootout. And yes, they beat the Ottawa Senators Saturday by a score of 2-1. And that way, they gave them a straight of 5W. You see it, you have to believe it because that's what he did. This is game also for Martin Saint-Louis after 8 games, a 5W and 3 loss. He stopped with a 0-3, if you can remember. The Habs Weekly 2022, of course, I'm talking about this became right now a great story in NHL, and of course, for the situation for Andrew Hammond. We remember him as an amazing, great start with the Ottawa Senators in the early, like 2013, 2014, the Hamburglar, while many people call him an amazing, great start during his career. Obviously, did play his last game in 2017-18. Been that year in most in the American Hockey League, but reborn with the Montreal Canadiens, make a start last week, and he got a shootout Thursday, come back this weekend, and he didn't do a shootout, but he won. I apologize. He got 2 games this week, 2-0-0, a save percentage on 9-4-6, goal again, average of 1.44. Yes, he stopped 56 of the 59 shots he faced during the week, and that gave him his first W. Send last game in the playoff for the Colorado in 17-18 season against the Nashville Predators. There's almost like 4 years he waited for that W in NHL. So that gives you an idea what it works. That's just a crazy. The only thing you said, Albert, coach, you're wrong with the you just said in April. But I'm talking those in 2016. It was the last win during the regular season, not during the playoff. His last game he played in NHL, it was March 28 in 2018. But the last time he won a W in NHL during the playoff. It was also in March 26 and 2018. What a story, by the way. Cole Caulfield on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cole Caulfield. We saw during the playoff last season, after only one goal during maybe his first 45 game this season, he just did 6 in the last 8 games with 4 assists for a total of 10 points in the last 8 games. 10 points under Martin St. Louis. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. And also 24 shots is at least 3 shots per game. This is the Caulfield we know. This is the Caulfield should be. And this line with Anderson teammate and Suzuki, he has the last 8 games, all 3 together, 21 points, 10 for Caulfield and 11 for Suzuki and Anderson together. What a ride for that line, to be honest with you. We have to give credit. The success they have on Montreal right now, it's really, really relate at that line at that moment. Caulfield sent his trip. He went to Wisconsin. It's funny that sometimes an adversity, a challenge you got can turn in positivity. What you talk about? Remember in Dallas, him and Joel Armia got the COVID-19. They have to stay there for 5 days before they can traveling, but he cannot return in Canada for 14 days. So he decided to go back in Wisconsin with Armia and bring him over there, practice with the team over there, and also met his ex-coach Granado. And I don't know, this is changed his way, but since that, it's not the same Caulfield we saw the last 8 games and also compared to the first 45 game in this season. So great to see, happy to see Cole Caulfield. And then, of course, it's since Martin St. Louis is there that he became what he is right now. So is it a coincidence? Is it Martin St. Louis changed him? But Cole Caulfield find his confidence right now, believe on himself, and you can see now he's have a good success at the last 8 games. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, is the injury update. This coming from a little bit for some update Thursday, Friday, during the weekend. Paul Biron is out. Remember, he got hit by the Buffalo Sabres defenseman Samuelson and fall of his head. We expect a concussion. We may be thinking about day-to-day, but expect at least 7 to 10 days minimum. Biron missed almost like, most full month in the beginning of the season because of his hip injury. He played only 9 games, and he have only 2 points so far. Now, Anderson came back Saturday night after he left the game Thursday night during the middle second. We got a shot in the face. Look okay Saturday night, so we are glad to see that. Price did not meet the price. We heard during the week last week, Carey Price going to meet the price and talking a bit more about his evaluation, where he is at with the program. We turned that unfortunately did not happen. We saw him on the ice alone with a coach. But that's pretty much it. No news about his case. But guys, to be honest with you, I don't see Carey Price back with the Montreal Canadiens. If it is for maybe a few days, a few games, that's it. So it is what it is. Like I said, we're going to hear this one. He's going to be ready to talk about this. That's pretty much what I can tell you right now. Edmonton back on the ice. It's great to see Joel Edmondson. Can he come back in March? I expect that. When? I don't know which day. But I expect Joel Edmondson could be back maybe about the 3rd week, maybe 4 weeks of the March and finish in April with the team. Perrault returned Saturday. He took the spot at Paul Biron. And also Sheneman returned for the Protocol 19. Was in the lineup. And they healthy scratch Kate Clague. Now, they were at Drouin skating right now. We expect them to come back during the month of March. Case 4, they are right now day-to-days. But I can expect them to come back with the team at some point. The next one I want to talk about is a March schedule for the Montreal Canadiens. They play 15 games in 31 days. They have to play per weekly. They have 5 weeks in March. 3 games, 3 games, 3 games following by 4 and 2. That's conclude their 15 game. They have 2 times. They play 3 games and 4 nights. They have 2 times. They play 4 games and 6 nights And one time at the end of the March, I believe it's March 23rd, 24th, they play 5 games and 8 nights. So really busy schedule for the Montreal Canadiens this month. And it's not going to be easy. You see, if you think about this, almost 2 games and every 2 nights. 1 game every 2 nights. It's most what happening in NHL. Many teams play 15 and 16 games during this month. They have, again, 7 games at home of the 15 game, 8 away, and they play an average about 5.46 winning percentage. The team going to face during the month of the March. That's gave them, honestly, the situation. They play 5 games against Atlantic Division, 3 against the Metropolitan, 2 against the Central, finally 5 games against the Pacific. This is the bit. I'm going to disappear here, give you a little bit chance. I know it's not easy to read that prospect graphic. I'm going to give you a little bit more, a bigger one very soon. Look, Cole Caulfield is on fire, guys. You have 10 points the last 8 games. Joshua Roy dominate right now, the best scorer in NH and the QM at that moment. Joshua Roy is as a 70 point and 37 game, is on fire. Josh, you have 6 points last game with 1 goal, 5 assists. Semino is doing well also, a couple of points. Goalie continues doing well with Edmonton King. Shea Wright have a couple of great nights last week. Is getting the Shea Wright we know. He's getting more value market, to be honest with you. And then Cooley also have a good week for him. And we know like this, when I talk Wright or Cooley or other players, they are also for the NHL Draft 2022. You can recognize inside that list who they are at that moment. Mayu back on the lineup after he got a sprained ankle. So glad to see Mayu back. And Kidney also have a couple of points with William Trudeau. And one player I'm a little bit concerned is Matthews Nylander. -2, 14-33 last game, 17 the game prior. And the team that's done well, honestly, they lost the last 2 games, 3-0 and 5-4. Finally, the last 2-1 graphic I want to talk about. This is the HAB Weekly 2022, like I mentioned. This is my top 15 NHL draft mock. Modify I bring to you almost every week. I modify my list for what I saw and what's going on with them. Now I'm a Shea Wright, followed by Slafosky and Cooley, Matthew Savoie, Kiki, Nemec, Lambert, Miroshnikov, Yorav, Nazar, Jerechek, Leto Rimaki, Kemel, McCarthy, and Cassie are the one, my top 15 at that moment. So just want to sharing with you. And definitely for the upcoming week, Montreal on the road. They consider their trip. They start at Ottawa with a 1W. They have 4 games the next 8 days. They play this Tuesday at Winnipeg, Thursday at Calgary, Saturday Edmonton. The following Tuesday, they play in Vancouver. So this is the trip, the last trip of the season on the West Canadian. What my expectation, I hope they can get maybe a 1-1-2 or maybe a 1-2-1 or maybe 2-1-1. My point to you, for at least for this week, would be great if they can get 1-1-1. Guys, this is another weekly Montreal Canadiens for you, for the Bleu Blanc Rouge. But before we leave, of course, I would like to hear from you what you think about the Montreal Canadiens last week, their performance, what you're most impressed. What do you think about Martin Saint-Louis? What do you think about the trade deadline? Because at the end, I was said, I'm going to talk about this. Who is the next one? We know they trade Toffoli. Do you expect Chariot is the first one? Do you expect Kulak out? Do you expect Anderson? Do you expect Likonen? This is a big name right now, Likonen. I think the 2 players really hot spot right now for the trade deadline is really Likonen and Chariot. Would you like to leave? Would you like to Likonen leave? This are the question we have for the next couple of days. Do I have some information? I'll be honest with you. At that moment, I would not be surprised they trade Likonen if they have the right return. A first round pick, a prospect A, that would be great in return. second round with a prospect A, I'm going to be fine for the Canadiens, or a first round pick or a prospect B, I'm fine also. I would love to have a 2 in return for the Canadiens. Why? Because I believe Pitt League can find to be the Canadiens. Sometimes we have to be not penalized, but when the market is, or the value of the player is higher, maybe it's the time to do it. He's already 26 years old. We know for the next 2-3 years he's going to be on his prime. But Ken Montreal is really ready to jump in to play at the level, or the mindset of the Montreal is going to be, yes, we are ready next year to be a team can come back in the middle of the NHL, or say, you know what, we maybe sacrifice for one more year to play a bit more at the bottom and let trade a couple of players, other like maybe Likanen, Chariot, Petrie, Gallagher. Those players can leave. Hoffman is another one of that. Drouin, another one. Maybe a goaltender. So they can sacrifice those players to stay a little bit lower and get better value of the prospect of draft pick for 22-23. Those questions I don't have right now for you guys, but it's going to be interesting what Montreal is going to do before the trade deadline, March 21st. So that concludes another great video of the Let's Talk Habs with the hockey coach, Coach FRENCHY, for the Hockey Nation Live Show. But before we leave, we invite you, of course, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and tell me about this video. What is your thought about the Montreal Canadiens at that moment, at anything we talk right now? But before we leave, of course, one more thing. You have greatness inside of you. Have an amazing, great weeks, everybody. I look forward for next week for another Let's Talk Habs with Coach FRENCHY.
Here I stand by myself.